who were liquidated. Anyone could turn you in on a trumped-up charge, a neighbor, a boss, even your children. Terror became an everyday emotion as millions just disappeared from sight.
Every evening, nobody knew what's going to happen to him, because the individual means nothing. The individual is like a piece of sand in the big, big desert. You can run it over with a truck, you can step on it, you can crash it, it just means nothing.
Yet Comrade Stalin seemed to remain above the fray. He blamed the terror on an overzealous police force and would periodically purge the head of the secret police. And they weren't just killed, they were erased from all official memory.
I'll tell you, even my grandfather, who was the victim of Stalinist repressions, he was able to survive, and he did not complain about the Soviet power or even about Stalin. He thought that the local leaders, the local bosses were to blame.
It's a very strange situation, the role that Stalin played in the lives of people in the Soviet Union. At the same time that he was evil and terrifying, he was secretive enough about it that I'm not sure that people, until much later, associated what was actually happening with the person of Joseph Stalin.
But one person did. His wife, Nadezhda, had learned about the famine from students returning from the Ukraine. She and Stalin began arguing frequently. One night at a banquet at the Kremlin, Stalin started flicking cigarettes at her across the table. She stormed out of the room and was found dead of a gunshot wound to the head the next day.
What we don't know is whether she retreated to their apartment in the Kremlin and shot herself to death, or whether there was a fight and he killed her. We don't know. People who hate Stalin greatly in Russia believe he killed her. People who still find some reason to say positive things about Stalin believe she committed suicide, and after that, as they say, his heart turned to stone.
Nadezhda's death severed his last link to reality. He had seen enemies everywhere for so long that he could no longer recognize a real one. In Germany, Adolf Hitler was creating a society as inhuman and repressive as Stalin's Soviet Union. And while the Nazis and the communists professed to hate each other, in reality, a grudging admiration existed between their leaders.
Stalin personally admired Hitler, the way how he manipulated with the people, how he got convert millions of Germans. So he was sometimes even watching him and trying to use his experience. When, for example, in '34, Hitler eliminated the commander of the SS troops, Ernst Röhm. And when Stalin got to know about that, he told to his colleagues, said, look at Hitler, what a bright guy, you know. He shows us how to deal with political opponents.
In 1938, Hitler took Austria. By March of 1939, all of Czechoslovakia was occupied by the Nazis. Stalin knew he had to ally with someone. He had earlier approached the West, but Germany seemed like a better bet. They could offer him territory, the Baltics and half of Poland, and peace, at least temporarily. So in August 1939, Germany and the Soviet Union signed a non-aggression pact.